Before the word, there was a silence that contained everything. In that timeless space, where consciousness had yet to pronounce its first name, a phrase vibrated. It wasn't an ordinary prayer, nor a set of random words. It was a code, a decree, a key that, when pronounced with pure intention, could alter the very architecture of reality. This text is not a reading. It's an activation. Each chapter is a threshold, each word a spark, each phrase a tool to remember what has always been within you, the power to name and transform. Prepare to enter the temple of sacred language. What you are about to read is not fiction. It is a literal revelation. Before starting this video, remember to subscribe and like. Before the universe had a name, before time decided to move forward, there was a suspended instant, an absolute silence. It wasn't emptiness. It was power. It was the breath held within it of all that would ever be. In that silence, there were no words, but there was intention. And that intention vibrated like an unspoken promise. Long before you learned to speak, you already knew how to resonate. Because the verb isn't born in the mouth, it's born in the soul. And at that origin there is a phrase. Not just any phrase. A phrase that isn't learned, it's remembered. A phrase that isn't repeated, it's embodied. It's the most powerful metaphysical phrase in the world. Literally. But before reaching it, you must cross the threshold of oblivion. Because the world taught you to speak without conscience, to name without presence, to decree without energy. And so words lost their edge, their fire, their form. What you are about to discover today is not a technique. It's a reunion. It is the moment when the word becomes sacred again. Imagine that every word you speak is a spark. Some ignite, others destroy. But there is one, just one, that, when spoken with complete alignment, can alter the architecture of your reality. Not because it's magic, but because it's true. Because it doesn't describe, it creates. Because it doesn't inform, it transforms. And you felt it, maybe in dreams, maybe in moments of deep connection, maybe on the brink of a life-changing decision. That phrase doesn't come from outside, it comes from within you. It's your code, your key, your verbal lineage. Today in this first chapter, I'm not going to give it to you, because it isn't surrendered, it's awakened. And for that, you must remember silence. Return to it, inhabit it. Because only those who honor silence can sustain the power of the word. Only those who stop talking for the sake of talking can begin to create with intention. So breathe, close your eyes, and listen, not to what I say, but to what vibrates between each word. Because there, right there, the real journey begins. The journey toward the sentence that doesn't just change your world, it redesigns it. When silence was honored, when the inner space became fertile, something began to vibrate. It wasn't sound, it was intention. And that intention, upon crossing the threshold of the soul, became a word. Not just any word. A word that doesn't describe, but creates. Because language is not just communication. It is architecture. It is energy in motion. Since you were born, you were taught to speak. To name objects, emotions, ideas. But no one taught you that every word you speak is a decree. That every sentence that comes out of your mouth has the power to shape your reality. Because the universe doesn't respond to vague thoughts. It responds to clear vibrations. And the word is vibration. When you say, I am, you're not describing. You're activating. You're summoning invisible forces that align with your declaration. If you say, I am abundance, the quantum field begins to reorganize. If you say, I am chaos, the same field obeys. Not because it judges you, but because it hears you. And what it hears, it executes. Most people speak without knowing they are creating. They repeat inherited phrases, unconscious decrees, words that don't belong to them. And so, their reality becomes filled with foreign echoes. But you are remembering. You are returning to the source. You are recognizing that the word is not a tool. It is an extension of your power. The most powerful metaphysical phrase in the world isn't long. It's not complex. It's simple. But its power isn't in its form. It's in the awareness with which it's spoken. Because when the word aligns with the heart, with energy, with purpose, it becomes a creative fire. Today at this second threshold, it's not about learning new words. It's about cleaning up the ones you already use. It's about observing every phrase you repeat. It's about asking yourself, does what I'm saying build me up or limit me? Does this word I'm using expand me or confine me? Because when the verb becomes conscious, the world becomes malleable. And you, as the architect of your destiny, begin to speak as one who designs, as one who honors, as one who remembers that language is not only human, it is divine. So from now on, every time you speak, do so like someone shooting arrows of light, like someone carving symbols into the invisible fabric of reality, because you didn't come to repeat yourself. You came to declare, and what you declare will be. And then the moment arrived, the instant when the words ceased to be theory and became flesh, because it's not enough to know that words create. They must be embodied. They must be lived. They must be sustained with the body, with energy, with the gaze. Because a powerful phrase doesn't transform just by being spoken. It transforms when it's inhabited. You're not just the one who speaks. You're the one who vibrates what you say. And that changes everything. Because when the word aligns with your presence, it becomes fire, a direction, a destiny. It's no longer just sound. It's code. It's living architecture. The most powerful metaphysical phrase in the world isn't said like someone reciting. It's said like someone breathing, like someone pulsating, like someone remembering that every cell is listening, that every particle responds, that the entire universe adjusts to the rhythm of your declaration. But for that to happen, you must be there. Not in the mind, not in fear, not in automatic repetition. You must be at the center, at the pivot, at the exact point where your intention becomes a verb, and your verb becomes the world. Today, at this third threshold, it's not about searching for the phrase. It's about becoming it, walking like someone who already embodies it, looking like someone who already holds it, speaking like someone who already is it. Because you are the word incarnate, not by magic, by memory. Because somewhere in your lineage, someone held that phrase with such force that it became imprinted in your field. And now you are awakening it. You don't need to repeat it 1,000 times, just once, but with total presence, with total truth, with total energy. And when you do, you'll know, because something will move, something will open, something will align, and then the world will respond. Not as one who obeys, but as one who acknowledges, because you didn't come to ask, you came to declare, and what you declare will be. And when the verb was incarnated, when the phrase ceased to be an idea and became a presence, something deeper began to reveal itself. Because that phrase not only transforms, it also transports. It's a portal, an access, an invisible door that, when spoken with awareness, opens dimensions that previously seemed closed. It's not a metaphor. It's literal. Every word you hold with intention can alter the fabric of time, can shift the coordinates of your destiny, can invoke memories you didn't know were yours. Because language doesn't just create, it also connects. And there are phrases that don't just construct realities, they also traverse them. Have you felt that moment? When you say something and the world stops. When you utter a phrase and everything seems to align. It's not a coincidence. It's activation. It's the portal opening. Because there are phrases that don't come from you but through you. Phrases that aren't thought, they are received. And when they arrive, they don't just transform you, they transport you. Today you are crossing that threshold. That of the phrase as access, as a key, as a code that opens doors you didn't know existed. And you don't need to understand everything. You just need to be present. Because the portal doesn't open with logic. It opens with vibration. There are phrases that take you to the past, others to the future. Some connect you to your lineage, to your guides, to your forgotten versions. And there is one, just one, that takes you to the center, to the core, to the exact point where everything converges. That is the phrase you are remembering. And when you say it, don't do it like someone searching. Do it like someone who has already found. Because the portal doesn't respond to doubt. It responds to certainty. And you're not here by chance. You're here because something inside you already knows, already remembers, already vibrates. So when the moment comes, when the phrase reveals itself, don't repeat it. Inhabit it. Walk with it. Breathe with it. Because it's not just a phrase, it's a door. And when you cross it, the world changes. Because you change. Because you are no longer the seeker. You are the activator. You are the opener. You are the sustainer. And when the portal was crossed, when the phrase ceased to be an access and became a direction, something began to move within the matter. Because the verb not only transforms the invisible, it also shapes the tangible. What was once energy now becomes form. What was once intention now becomes structure. Because the most powerful metaphysical phrase in the world doesn't remain in the air. It descends. It incarnates. It builds. You felt that moment. When you say something with complete certainty and without knowing how reality begins to adjust. People change. Opportunities appear. The body responds. It's not a coincidence. It's resonance. Because matter isn't rigid. It's obedient. And what you vibrate, it executes. Every word you speak consciously leaves an imprint. Not just on your mind but on your surroundings. On your energy field. On your physical body. On your relationships. Because language isn't just sound. It's vibrational architecture. And you are the architect. When you say, I am abundance, you're not waiting for something external to confirm it. You're activating a frequency that begins to manifest in your decisions, your habits, your outlook. And matter responds. Because it can't ignore a sustained vibration. It can't resist an embodied phrase. But there's something deeper. Because it's not just about what you say, but how you sustain it. The phrase doesn't act alone. It needs your energy, your coherence, your action. It's not enough to declare. You have to embody it. You have to walk as someone who already is. You have to look as someone who already sustains. Because matter doesn't respond to desire. It responds to certainty. And that certainty isn't shouted. It's breathed. It's projected. It's lived. When you hold a phrase in complete alignment, the universe has no choice. It reorganizes itself. Because you're not asking. You're designing. You're activating codes that were dormant. You're remembering that reality isn't something that happens to you. It's something you construct. Observe your surroundings, your body, your reality, and ask yourself, what phrase is building it? What word is sustaining it? Because if you don't like what you see, don't change the form. Change the verb. Change the vibration. Change the phrase. And when you do, don't expect immediate results like someone who doubts. Hold the phrase like someone who already knows. Like someone who already is. Like someone who already vibrates. Because time also obeys the verb. And what you declare today will become structure tomorrow. The most powerful metaphysical phrase in the world isn't a formula. It's a frequency. And you are the channel. The body. The temple that sustains it. So guard your verb. Honor your word. Because every phrase you utter is carving your destiny into the invisible stone of reality. And if you ever doubt, return to silence. Return to the portal. Return to the body. Because that's where the key lies. Not in repeating, but in embodying. Not in asking, but in declaring. Not in waiting, but in holding. Because you are not a victim of matter. You are its designer. And what you declare, will be. Literally. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you think. It responds to what you vibrate. And you are already vibrating. And when matter began to respond, when the incarnated word began to redesign form, a silent warning appeared. Not all phrases are ready to be spoken. Not all words can be released without awareness. Because just as the word builds, it can also overflow. And there are phrases that, if spoken without preparation, don't activate, they collapse. This is the threshold that many fail to cross. That of vibrational responsibility. Because language is not innocent. It is power. And power without direction becomes noise, distortion, chaos. There are phrases that were sealed by ancient lineages. Phrases that are not taught, they are guarded. Because their power is such that, when spoken out of alignment, they can alter more than they transform. You felt that moment. When someone says something that shakes you, that breaks you, that moves you without you expecting it. It wasn't the person. It was the phrase. It was the code. It was the echo of something that shouldn't have been said, or that was said without awareness. Because the verb doesn't just activate. It also invades. It also penetrates. It can also disrupt if it's not supported by truth. And it's not about fear. It's about respect. Because ceremonial language isn't spectacle. It's alchemy. And alchemy demands purity, demands intention, demands preparation. There are phrases that cannot be spoken aloud without first embodying them in silence. Because silence is the temple where the phrase is purified. And you, as a channel, must be clean. Not perfect, but available. There are phrases that are only revealed in dreams. Others in rituals. Some come in moments of crisis, like whispers that are not understood but are felt. And there is one, just one, awaiting to be spoken by you. But not now. Not yet. Because before you say it, you must become someone who can sustain it. This chapter isn't about learning. It's about remembering that the verb is fire, that the word is a sword, that the phrase is a portal, and that not every portal should be opened without guidance. Because there are doors that don't close once crossed, and you are close, very close. But before moving forward, you must purify your verb, cleanse your intention, fine-tune your energy. Don't repeat what you don't understand. Don't declare what you can't hold. Don't invoke what you can't integrate. Because the universe doesn't distinguish between play and ritual. It only responds. And what you say, will be. And if you've ever wondered why certain phrases don't work, why certain decrees don't manifest, maybe it wasn't the phrase. Maybe it was you. Maybe you weren't ready to hold the vibration that phrase demands. Because every word carries weight. And there are phrases that weigh like lineages, like pacts, like destinies. Therefore, before searching for the most powerful phrase, find your center, your axis, your coherence. Because the phrase isn't revealed to those who desire it. It's revealed to those who honor it, to those who wait for it in silence, to those who sustain it without anxiety. Because the verb doesn't respond to urgency. It responds to presence. And when it comes, it won't be like a thunderclap. It will be like a whisper, like a certainty that needs no explanation, like a vibration that settles in your chest and tells you, now you can say it, now you can hold it, now you can be the channel. And then yes, then you will be able to pronounce it. And in doing so, the world will not only change, it will reconfigure itself. Because you will not be the same. You will be the custodian. The body that holds the verb, the guardian of the unrepeated phrase, is embodied. And what you declare, will be. Literally. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you think. It responds to what you vibrate. And you are already vibrating. But now you are learning to guard, to wait. Because he who knows when to remain silent, is the only one who can sustain the true power of the word. And then, after the silence, the verb, the portal, the material, and the shelter, the moment arrives. The instant that cannot be anticipated, but that is felt. The exact point at which the phrase ceases to be a search and becomes a revelation. Not like an external discovery, but like an internal pulse that is activated without permission, without effort, without doubt. The most powerful metaphysical phrase in the world isn't surrendered. It's awakened. And when it does, there's no sound that can contain it. Because it's not just what's said. It's what's vibrated. It's what's held. It's what's embodied. And you're ready. Not because you've understood everything, but because you've crossed it. You've crossed the 7 thresholds. You've purified your word. You've honored silence. You've sustained matter. You've respected power. And now the sentence arrives. Not as a prayer. As an identity. As a certainty that needs no explanation. I am. 2 words. 1 vibration. An entire universe contained in 1 declaration. Because when you say, I am, you're not describing what you see. You're activating what you are. You're summoning what belongs to you. You're remembering that you didn't come seeking. You came to awaken. And that phrase, so simple, so direct, so powerful, needs no embellishment. It needs no context. It needs no validation. Because the universe doesn't respond to complexity. It responds to authenticity. And I am is the root of all creation. It is the core of every decree. It is the fire that lights all portals. But it's not enough to say it. You have to hold it. You have to walk it. You have to live it. Because I am isn't an affirmation. It's an activation. It's a key that opens all doors, but only if you are the body that can hold them open. And when you do it, when you say it with total presence, something changes. Not outside, inside. Time stops. Energy aligns. The world tilts. Because you have remembered. You have returned. You have embodied the verb. You have spoken the phrase. And in doing so, you have redesigned your reality. You don't need more. You don't need to repeat yourself. You don't need to convince. Because whoever says I am with truth already is, already vibrates, already creates, already transforms. And now the journey doesn't end. It begins. Because the phrase isn't the end. It's the beginning. The start of a life lived from the center, from power, from consciousness. A life where every word is fire. Where every silence is a temple. Where every step is a decree. You are the phrase. You are the verb. You are the portal. You are the matter. You are the custodian. You are the creator. And whatever you declare, will be. Literally. And so, the phrase was spoken. Not like an echo of the past, but like an eternal pulse that traverses dimensions. Whoever holds it with awareness not only transforms their world, they redesign it. Because the universe doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to declarations. Now that you have crossed the 7 thresholds, you are not the same. You have remembered the power that dwells in your word, in your intention, in your energy. Don't repeat this phrase like someone reciting. Inhabit it like someone creating. Because you are the word incarnate. And as you say it, the world bows. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. See you in the next video.